Number one, first and foremost, understand your lead pages and what they're supposed to provide. Alright, well, first let's explain these simple. Alright, home search. What is this page supposed to get someone to? So if I'm a buyer, I click on home search. Well, when I click on this page, what it should bring me to is simply the full MLS search IDX form of your site. Plain and simple. Meaning I'm a buyer, and that's why I put it across the top. I'm a buyer, and let's say I land on your page from either an inner page on search engines, or I find it on the home page. Regardless, most buyers are simply looking for homes. So what you need to do is give them loud and clear the home search button. It's right here. And what this should do is, it shouldn't break it down by price. You know, it shouldn't. You could do it search by price, but what I mean is, it shouldn't be a massive focus on breaking down by cities and price. Instead, just give them the straight search, your straight search form. Whatever IDX you're using, this is where it should be. Your search for homes button. All right. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Now let's go into the next one. So let's say on your city search button. So here we are. What is the city search button supposed to be? All right. Well, the city search button is supposed to be pretty much the exact same thing as the home search button, but the difference is that it's just another capture point mentally. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still going to search all homes, but just mentally, depending on your region, you might have like a maybe there's not one select area that you work, and you have a wide range, and maybe someone knows one little spot, one little region of your area, and they want to search that city first, right? It just makes it easier for consumers, and by having them together, one of them is going to get clicked. So let's say I click on city search. What should I be seeing? But basically what I should be seeing is the following. You should be seeing, and it's kind of explained here, and I'll show you the best example of this, but you should basically be seeing a breakdown of each city with the price ranges, so they could click on links and get straight to the home searches. Here's the best example for this. Here's coming up right now. The best example for this is on one of our clients' site, fullandmcclellan.com, and it's spelled the way you see here. Obviously, this symbol is not in the URL; it's the actual word "and." So fullandmcclellan.com. You could check out this page, and you could see the beginning. When I click on city search, you're going to see how it comes up, how it's organized, and this is ideally how your city search pages should be. Depending on your IDX, it's going to vary on how you're going to do this, but understand this principle is how it should be. Search homes by city, and let's say right here I click on Castro Valley. Well, it takes me to Castro Valley, and I have all the breakdown of the prices. Or let's say I want to click on Oakland. Well, I click on Oakland, and then we have all these prices broken down just like that. This is the general idea of the city search page, and this is using the DS-ID-Express tool to do this. And notice on the side with them, the city search page is literally a full-on city search. Even the sidebar is search for homes. The sidebar here is search the areas, and then it shows the latest listings for the region. You don't have to go this far because maybe your IDX can't do that, and it doesn't necessarily, there's no immediate proof that it helps, so I'm not advising this necessarily, but it just at least creates a visual impression. The clicks to this have not been proven, so don't immediately do it, but I feel that there's a perceived value in having this here. I'm giving the consumer confidence that this website is the one that fits what they want, because it's all about listings if I'm a buyer, searching by city. So those are the two great things about IDX tools that you should use, and I love DS-ID-Express. Just to show you their site, I love DSIDExpress.com the best for this, because DS-ID-Express is what you could do to create these listing categories easily. They have cool widgets for it. I have a tutorial that shows you that, and you could do things by price breakdowns like this and everything. So check that out if you don't have it, and hopefully it's available in your area. If not, the other alternative is idxbroker.com. I'm just barely starting to test with idxbroker.com, but more or less they have the same features as DS-ID-Express. But DS-ID-Express would be the first choice, IDX Broker would be the second choice, depending on your region. But they both do the functional output. So I had to hit that point and get a lot of questions on that. So now let's get back to our points. So let's go back to our page, and let's go back to our home page and finish learning what are the rest of these buttons. And I know a lot of you might already think, I know what these buttons are, and you probably already do, but it's important for you to hear me explain them so you understand the actual end goal of how you will also be using them. Because remember, we're getting out of the mindset of having single landing pages. That is so 2001. Let's just think about it in that way, all right? And I'm using these weird words on purpose because I'm trying to anchor this stuff in your thought process, which it is working. So the next thing, deal of the month, right? What is the deal of the month page supposed to be? So when I click on deal of the month, here's what you should not be seeing. I should not be seeing a single page with just a listing. Like here's an example. I mean, obviously there's no photos because this is a demo site. We can't put a real listing. But basically, pretend there's photos here. There's a description about the page, and then it shows this listing feature. All of your Tizish sites have this listing feature. You could put a map. Check out the video tutorial on that. You could put a map. You could put a listing here and everything. You have this listing function built in. All right. Now the whole point is when I click on deal of the month, it shouldn't be one single listing that literally is a deal of the month. Because here's what you need to understand. It needs to get back into the concierge mindset. When I click on the deal of the month button, what I should be seeing is a description or maybe a video of you selling the concept. Oh, every month I look at the MLS and I'm looking for the best home on the market. And then here, and you basically explain the concept. And then below that, just like the concierge pages are going to be, and we're going to see that today in the next 35, 45 minutes, is going to be all the latest blog postings from the past deal of the months, or the current and the past deal of the months. And here's why it's important. If I'm looking for deal of the month, you have to understand this. Every single buyer that visits your website, they've been on a lot of other real estate agent websites. So when you, as a real estate agent who they have not met, say that you have the deal of the month, do you think that they believe you, or do you think they don't believe you? Based off the fact that every other agent on every other website is saying that they have the best deal for their listing and all that other stuff. And on top of that, combine that with what the media is saying about how real estate's going bad, or how it's going really bad in some areas. It's reporting more negative than maybe some areas that are actually having some good positive stuff going on in their areas. Now, that consumer is not going to believe your deal of the month by default. So this is why it's important to put it as a concierge. So if you have a regular deal of the month page like this, and it has just the listing, and they see it, first of all, they have no context for is it really a deal of the month. They have no proof. So what you need to do by making it a concierge is you need to have a general description that tells them on this page you're going to find the best deal of the month for the market, and then you tell them why it actually is true. You could see that it's true by clicking on any of the listings and seeing the average day that they lasted on the market, and then the average days that the homes sell in the area. So you give them proof. That one little extra step of giving them proof is what's going to make your website immediately get that authority and trust from them, that when they see, holy cow, let's say that they saw 3 deals of the month, right? And then they click on one of them, and then they see that this property sold in 7 days and the average days was 45 days on the market. They're going to believe you. And the moment that a consumer believes you, that you're honest about how things are deals of the month, is the moment that they're going to say, maybe I will subscribe by email because this is honest. Maybe I will give him my phone number on something that he's asking for a special report, because they trust you. They believe that the information you're giving is verified, or is accurate, and that you're sincere about it. So take the opportunity for deal of the month. A lot of people think that it's for lead capture. This is what I'm explaining. A lot of people think that this deal of the month is to show them like, hey, I'm going to try to sell this listing and capture leads on it. When in reality, that's not necessarily the case. The real purpose of the deal of the month page is to gain trust to the consumer with your website. Because guess what? People love lists. And I'm going to go further, so bear with me. You have to really, really internalize this point, because you'll be able to take this same point and put it into other areas of your site. When I visit your site, the moment that I gain trust in your site, think about the sites you like. Don't you when you read one great article or great thing from any website, don't you immediately remember that one because you got one great bit of knowledge from it? Well, this is your chance to. This is one of your chances to do that. All right. And the reason why a deal of the month is a great opportunity to show consumers, that you are authentic and that you give valuable and like truthful information. The reason why it's a great opportunity is because human beings on the internet, especially, we're obsessed with lists. Meaning the top 10. I mean, think about radio stations. When they have the top 10 countdown, do they start with number 1, number 2, and then go 2, 3, all the way to 10? No, they start with number 10 and end on number 1. And what's always the big thing? I mean, even looking before the Super Bowl and all that stuff, there was always like the top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. And then number 1's always a big surprise. And which episode gets the most viewing? Number 1. Humans, we have this natural thing to want to know what is the best thing and what is the worst thing. There's just this fascination with wanting to know where is the bar of whatever subject we're talking about. So having something like deal of the month speaks to that psychology of your visitors. So the whole point is, how does your website gain trust? Let me rewind now. it gains trust by showing them verified facts of what you're saying, going that extra step to show them that you're serious. Now, what's a great place to do that? Can you do that on your home search? Nope. Can you do it on city search? Nope. Deal of the month is a great place to do it because that's going to immediately appeal to me. Whether I'm looking to buy or not, I'm probably going to click on it because I'm curious. What is the best price in the market? I'm just curious. So when I click on that and I see that you're giving me verified facts and you're honest, I'm like, holy cow, this website's really good. Now that's going to compel me to want to read the rest of your articles that say home prices potentially be shaken up with the shadow inventory. That might make me want to believe you when I see what happens if loan mods don't get accepted. That's going to propel me to want to learn more about your site and eventually subscribe and other stuff. So keep that in mind because that same principle will carry on to these other ones. So next point. Oh, and just to recap, the key point was deal of the month should be your page that you gain trust with the visitor by showing them verified facts of deals of the month. When they trust you, they're going to use whatever else you have on your site because they believe you, because you're competing with other agents that are all saying the same thing but don't go that extra step. Go that extra step and watch how people actually will start using your site more. So the next one, what will my home really sell for? This is pretty much intended to be the home value section of your website. When you talk about home prices, because what the heck do sellers really care about at the end of the day? Price and commission, right? What are you charging me? How much are you gonna sell my home for? That's all they really care about. So you're not gonna really talk commission on your web page. I mean, you can in separate sections. I'm not gonna cover that, but if you wanted, I mean, you can. But the whole point is price is the crucial thing. When a seller comes to your website, they're like, "Where's the information that affects my pricing?" All right. So the whole purpose of what will my home really sell for is to be that page that you address everything with home values. All right. And again, when I click on it, I shouldn't come to a single lead capture page. And again, I know we build your websites like this by default, and that's intentional because everyone has different markets. We don't know how to make concierge pages for everybody because everyone has a different market. So the whole point is, how much is my home worth page shouldn't be one just general page about home values. It should be the concierge for all topics related to pricing, related to home values, things like that. That's the intention, all right? So keep that in mind of what my home values page. Now let's go to the next page, and the how's the market or the good or bad market, all right? A lot of people want to think that this is about buyers or this is about sellers, when in reality, your good or bad market, your how's the market page, that's for both buyers and sellers. So here's what I mean by that. If looking at all your lead capture buttons, if you have a home search, city search, these are obviously buyer. If you have a deal of the month, that's pretty much buyer for the most part. And if you have what my home really sell for, that's all sellers. So you're covering your bases with laser focused content, but then you have your good or bad market. Well, now this one's going to appeal to both. All right, this is the category that's going to appeal. This is going to be like the broker of making your website appeal to both buyers and sellers by being neutral to them. All right, so if I click on good or bad market, what should I be seeing? All right, well, what I should be seeing is a concierge of information where you talk about loads of different marketing items. This isn't filled yet, but you will see it fill up shortly as we go through this what do you call it, the webinar. But basically, when a consumer clicks on the good or bad market, what I should see is a concierge, a general information about what do you do as the agent. So you're the agent in XYZ area, or I'm just going to name regions. You're the agent in Orange County. You're the agent in Beverly Hills. You're the agent in Toronto or San Francisco. What do you do as the agent there to keep your consumers conformed? This page, the concierge page that you do for this, should tell them that. Well, the way I keep up to the market is I do X, Y, and Z. And then when they on this page, the blog postings they see below it should be speaking to the good or bad market stuff you're talking about. And you're going to see in the categories we do. Well, at this point will make more sense. So keep that in mind. And here's one thing I want to share. Everyone loves Altos research tools. Everyone loves data tools because they're great because they give you good content that you could blog about. But here's the way you shouldn't and should be using those tools. If you're going to have a how's the market or good or bad market page, don't just make this a bunch of blog postings showing data. Like, oh, here's the latest, here's the home inventory looks like compared to the amount of homes, the homes that have sold in the past 6 months. And it's like some line graph. That right there doesn't appeal to consumers because guess what? They can't interpret that. So you need to understand if you're paying for data, and actually with your Tizish system, you actually have this free data put into your system where you could get market data from Altos and Trulia built in. But basically, if you're going to be doing blog postings with data, you need to understand that these blog postings shouldn't just be data and that's it. They need to be you explaining the market and then the data is a second or third factor of you trying to, it should reinforce the fact that you're explaining. Never have data and then try to explain the data, because that doesn't make sense to consumers. They don't even understand anything about anything. I'm not trying to badmouth them. I'm just saying they just don't understand the market. It's too complex now. All right, maybe they could have understood it during the bubble times. It's easy. Home prices are going up. Here's inventory. Here's the supply demand. Here's the prices. Simple logic right there. But nowadays it's so different. So when you give all this data to them, they're like, what the heck is this? So you need to instead make your good or bad market and how you use data be your pages that you talk about the market, and then use data to back up what you're talking about. That's a key distinction. All right. So now one more button, and then we can move on to actually creating these. The first one is we still have good or bad market. We talked about deal of the month as well. Questions, ask an agent. All right. What do all great websites have? That are very broad subject based. Maybe not single websites. Single topic focused, but very broad subject. Like real estate's a broad subject because it could be about investing. It could be about buying. You could be a first time home buyer. There's loads of variations to it. Selling in so many different circumstances, but all of them have a frequently asked questions page. So your website, that's why we include one of these buttons, it should have a frequently asked questions page. And we're going to go over that, and we're going to see how that would look and why that would appeal. So keep in mind, that's the other button. This questions ask an agent, again, going back to our concierge mentality, the purpose of this page is to show you, is to be like the information center where when I click on it, I'm getting asked questions like, oh, here's, I'm presented with the concierge. On this page, you could ask a question about the market. We do this to answer, blah, blah, blah. And then now on there, right there is a contact form, but then below it, you have the actual blog postings of recent questions that people have asked that you've answered. Because again, you can't just say what you're going to do. You have to show proof of what you're doing. Remember, proof is the key. This, and not just this year, we'll call it from 2010 plus. Showing proof of what you're saying is key, because the internet from 2000 to 2010 was more about like who's there. Whoever's there online, I'm going to believe what they say. Now that every real estate agent knows what blogging is, now that everyone knows how to blog in a sense and how to put content up live on websites, the question is, if everyone's saying the same thing, how do we go beyond? Well, the answer to that is proving it to them. And that we're now in that phase of I mean, it sounds so common sense because we do this in real life, but you have to back up what you say with proof. Plain and simple. So, alright, that's what that questions ask an agent button is. So now that's actually this whole, that's what all your lead capture buttons are, alright? I actually want to introduce you to this button. You guys all have this on your system. If you click on this Contact Us Now button, notice how it takes you to this page. This is the whole purpose of this section. This pulls from an actual blog page. So here, let me show you what I mean. I believe it's pulling from the contact page, just as an example. We'll see. I'm not sure. No, it's not pulling from there. But the whole purpose is you could make this drop-down menu in your admin panels, and the whole idea is you can make it either be one nice graphic that does. I'm going to talk about this later, but keep that in mind. This is another option for you to put maybe a video about your team, your company, or maybe your services, something. That'll be fixed. But the whole point is it's a nice place to put information about yourself as a cool little drop-down. All right, and you can activate this in your admin panel. I have separate tutorials already made for that. But anyhow, let's move on to the next steps. Hopefully all that made sense. We're going to see all that stuff developing starting now, actually. Now we're beginning the phase of developing. And I know I spent so much time talking about the mental parts and prepping for it, but again, if you're in this for the long haul, you should not be complaining because you're just self-sabotaging yourself. You need to understand those principles. So if you're still confused on where we're going so far, hit pause or just rewind this and listen to it 10,000 more times, because when we get going now, you need to be able to keep up. Alright, so here's the next things.